Babidi tried to unleash Majin Buu, but it didn't really go too well for him. Although, that leaves Majin Buu for another person to revive. For the first time in a What If, we enter the events of Daima. How is that going to change though? We'll cover all that and more in this 5th part of What If Gohan went Super Saiyan early. The events of Daima start out pretty normally. Gohan goes to the lookout, gets the Dragon Balls, particularly with Neva's help, and a wish is made to make everyone smaller. So far, the biggest difference is that Gohan's actually involved, plus the fact that Goku's still dead here. Gohan's not too affected by this wish. He's a little bit annoyed because he hit his growth spurt not too long ago. It's probably only been like 2 years. And he was strong as a kid still, so he just looks exactly as he did a few years ago. For everyone else though, especially Vegeta and Piccolo, it's really noticeable. And it's not just them, it's pretty much anyone they're associated with. Shin and Kibito were on Earth for a bit, and they're affected by this wish too, and it makes them wonder, what about Goku? After the events of the Buu Saga, he actually did go to Shin to train, so he's been on the Sacred World of Kai's a bit. Shin and Kibito go there briefly just to check that out. Now we move up to the lookout. They all learn Dende was kidnapped, and now they need to find a way to fix everything. Glorio then arrives in his ship. Shin and Kibito teleport back in, this time with Goku. Obviously, Goku is still dead, but more importantly, he's actually still fully grown. The wish didn't get him because he's not alive, and he actually wasn't even with them at the time that it was made. And after they told him what happened, while still not really knowing the full picture, obviously he agreed to joining along. It's really weird to see everyone else so small, but he's just glad he didn't get affected. And Goku's really gung-ho about everything, so he's the one to actually tag along with Glorio, and Shin goes with him too. Gohan decides to stay back, and he'll go with Bulma's group. Thankfully, it hasn't really been long since he was in a body this small, so he's still kinda used to fighting like this. For Vegeta, it's a pretty big adjustment. Same for Piccolo. Given the circumstances, even with Goku being dead, he's allowed to be here for now. I mean, Shin is the Supreme Kai after all. I'd assume he'd be able to just bring Goku here if he wanted. He actually was training with the Z-Sword, which didn't break just yet, and he thought maybe he could bring that along with him, but they left it behind. Gohan thinks they should all leave together, but they'd have to wait for Bulma to complete the ship, so they decide to go in groups. Not to mention, Glorio probably wants to get them to move along, so there's the original group of Goku, Glorio, and Shin. So 2 big things to consider here with Goku. 1, he's not affected by the wish. 2, he's dead, which means he won't have any energy issues. And he has Super Saiyan 3, so thanks to being dead, that form is actually going to be a lot more effective, at least compared to how it would be normally. Gohan doesn't have this issue thanks to his tail, but at least this way, Goku gets some use out of it too. They start venturing through the Demon Realm, and since it is the same group that started out there, I don't think much is going to change. If anything, it's going to be even easier because Goku's in his normal body. Although people are going to notice the halo above his head, so that's going to be pretty weird. Probably not as weird as him having rounded ears though. They go on their normal adventure and end up meeting Pansy as well, and things continue like this up until Goku fights Tamagami 1. So at this point in the story, Goku is probably above where he was normally. And I'm not just saying that because he didn't get affected by the wish, but the fact that he's been dead for some extra time actually does help since he's been training 24/7. He hasn't had to stop. And some of that training has been on the Sacred World of Kai, so he's advanced beyond where he was before. All that's basically to say, at absolute worst, it would go the same, but if anything, it's probably going to be a little easier. The 2 groups continue onward. Eventually, Bulma's able to complete the ship, so her group goes to the Demon Realm. Same group as the normal story, with Ibis also coming along too. The only difference is the addition of Gohan. Plus they meet Neva too. I know you're probably thinking, this is the first time you're doing Daima and you're barely changing anything. I promise I'm getting somewhere. Remember, Buu wasn't even revived just yet. Even though this is starting out normally, things are about to shift pretty quickly. When they encounter Tamagami 2, Gohan's the one to fight him. He's still the strongest of the group, even with Goku being unaffected by the wish, and wins that fight pretty quickly. And thankfully Gohan is pretty smart, so he's probably not going to have any issue with that logic problem that he gets. So he wins the battle, as well as that little thing afterwards, getting the 2nd Dragon Ball. And this kind of works out perfectly for Vegeta because there's 3 Tamagami, which means he's going to get to fight Tamagami 1 once they find him. Easier said than done though, because they still need to travel through the first Demon World. So speaking of that, what's going on? Well, Gohan's a little bit concerned because not only are these people here now, but they also have an extra person here who wasn't affected by the wish. He seems to be someone who was dead before. They were really concerned because these people stopped Dabura. So without fighting Majin Buu, they don't know the true extent of everyone's power, but that alone makes them scared. Although, by now, Irinsu is actually absent. You might think she's going to make Majin Ku or do, but no, she has a much better option. No need to make a brand new Majin when there's a perfectly good one right there. Marba warns her against it, but she goes for that anyways. Thankfully, with everyone being here in the Demon Realm, that means Buu's egg should be unattended. Of course, Kibito is still out there. He didn't come along with everyone, and he's probably on the Sacred World of Kai right now. So Irinsu goes there, and when she arrives on the Sacred World of Kai, the only person there is Kibito, who of course was also affected by the wish. Now, I don't even know how this fight would go, because, at least as of the time of recording, Irinsu hasn't fought yet. For reference, Daima's on episode 19 right now, and it doesn't seem like she's going to be fighting anytime soon. So I'm going with that assumption. But either way, the question is who would win, Kibito or Irinsu? Sure, Kibito got mocked by Dabura and Kanon, but Kibito actually seems decently powerful. At least in the Dragon Ball Super manga. We see him sparring pretty evenly with Zamasu. But to be fair, super power scaling is really weird because if he truly was as strong as Zamasu at that point, Dabura wouldn't have been able to one-shot him. Not to mention, he's smaller now, so even if Rinsu does end up being powerful, I feel like this would be a really tough match for her. Kibito's probably going to be the one that has the edge. But she uses this to work in her favor. She could draw this fight out. She's not looking to defeat Kibito. She just wants to lend energy to Buu's egg, and she locates it. It's on the planet they're on. So amidst their fight, she casts a spell, similar to what Babidi did where whenever people were fighting, energy from that battle went to Buu's egg. She just replicates that here, and she drags the fight on as long as possible with Kibito, gathering a bunch of energy from it, even if it means taking some damage herself. Thankfully, she does this without Kibito noticing, and by the time he figures out something's going on, it's too late. Buu almost did have enough energy to be revived, and now, he's reached that threshold. There's a giant pillar of steam not too far away, with Kibito looking terrified realizing what's about to happen, and Rinsu looking on nervously but also a little bit excited. The egg bursts open, and Majin Buu comes out of it. Kibito calls her a fool. Why would she revive Majin Buu? There's no way to even control him. She thinks she actually can. Babidi did have a plan after all. His whole idea was to keep Buu complacent by threatening to seal him again, so she just does that. And Buu seems a little bit different from what she remembered. Marbo created Kid Buu, and this one, he looks different. That's because he has the South Supreme Kai and the Grand Supreme Kai inside him, so he's more docile, which is kind of good for her. She could just give him treats and he'll listen to her, especially because she could seal him away if she wanted. So she uses this to her advantage, bringing Buu back to the Demon Realm. For reference, she went here after everyone else went to the Demon Realm. And of course, they're going to get word that this happened, so they could expect Majin Buu and Rinsu to show up at some point. But anyways, back to the Demon Realm. The group makes it to the first Demon World, and they break through Goma's forces. The last thing left for them to do is to defeat Tamagami 1, and Vegeta's already been selected to take on this fight. And thankfully he has more than enough power, especially because he even had Super Saiyan 3 beforehand. Neva even buffs him a bit just to make the fight more interesting, but still, Vegeta ends up winning this battle, although the math problem is probably going to be an issue. Not to say that Vegeta's stupid or anything, it's just no one could really perform that arithmetic. But I mean, Neva's there, so maybe he'll just tell Tamagami 1 to give him it. So, he's about to hand the Dragon Ball over, but then a Ki Blast flies past them. Vegeta quickly grabs the Dragon Ball, and Gohan then knocks the blast away. Floating there nearby is a Rinsu with Majin Buu. Shin is absolutely petrified. None of them have seen Buu before, but Shin's obviously warned them about him. So, this is the guy that they're going to have to fight before. They're not too concerned because not only does he look unassuming, but also based on his power, and their own power right now, it shouldn't be too hard of a battle. Sure, it'll be a challenge, and probably a really fun battle at that, but definitely not anything impossible at the moment. And since Vegeta just got his fight with Tamagami 1, Goku says they'll start at the top again. He'll be the next one to fight. And Goku gets ready to face Majin Buu. Rinsu of course tries to get the Dragon Balls for herself, but Vegeta easily fends her off, which isn't really too hard. Gohan keeps them safe too and asks Neva if he can make the wish. So Neva translates for them, and Puranga is summoned. Of course, not too far away, Goma and Degasu notice this. It's not like they could really do anything though, and they can immediately tell what wish was made because they have Dende with them still, and he turns back into his normal self. And immediately starts freaking out after realizing what happened. But still, even with him growing back to normal, they still have him as a hostage. And Goma still has something working in his favor. The third eye was still brought to this world, and he sent someone out to get it, and now she has her hands on it. So he just has to wait for that to get delivered and he'll be okay, even if they did get their wish. Plus, they still need to come here for Dende anyways. As Goku's fighting Buu, he looks around and sees everyone turn back to normal. This is good. All they need to do is stop Buu, and then make it to Goma's place and take Dende back. And Rinsu panics because she didn't expect it to go like this that quickly, and Gloria was just standing by and kinda let this happen. But he sticks with the group, and she tries to call Buu back. But Buu is angered by her, as well as the others. He's been ordered around by her this whole time, and these people are trying to kill him, which of course won't sit well with him. Plus, he hasn't had a treat in a while, so he's pretty angsty. And this causes something weird to happen. Buu then splits off into two people, Good Buu and Evil Buu. Shin's a little confused because he didn't see Buu like this before. He just saw Kid Buu, and then Buu after absorbing the South Supreme Kai and the Grand Supreme Kai. That gray Buu is completely different. But he could tell just from his energy that he's made from pure evil, so he theorizes what happened is that the pure evil in Buu just split out of him. Gohan gets ready to fight Evil Buu, and Goku's still ready to face Good Buu. But instead, the two Boos go after each other, which also surprises Rinsu. Goku tells him to go get Dende. He's going to handle this, especially because it looks like they're going to be fighting each other too. Vegeta wants to fight again, but Gohan says it's probably best they go over there. So Goku stays with Shin. Glorio, Neva, and Bulma go with Gohan and Vegeta, while the rest stay with Goku. But something weird happens. Evil Buu quickly turns Good Buu into candy, and then eats him, then undergoing another change. Goku's a bit confused, but as the others leave, they can sense this, and they even can witness it too. They haven't made it too far yet. But Shin telepathically communicates them and says that they've got this handled. Goku still seems strong enough to fight him, so they should go on forward. And Buu has changed. Now he's Super Buu. And at the moment, even just in Super Saiyan 2, Goku is strong enough to face him. Plus he still has Super Saiyan 3 locked away, and thanks to being dead, he also might be able to tap into Kaioken at the same time. He's kind of been holding that back, and it's a last resort, but if he needs it, he can use it. So he fights Super Buu, and it becomes pretty clear that Super Buu's not going to be able to defeat him. So quickly, Goku goes into Super Saiyan 3, charging a Kamehameha, ready to finally kill Buu. But at the last moment, Buu self-destructs. Goku's able to protect everyone around him, but that's not the main issue. The issue is, Buu split up into a bunch of different pieces, so Goku's gonna have to try and destroy them individually. Rinsu's still nearby, and then she notices one of the pieces of Buu is on her, and it starts expanding, then growing larger and larger and absorbing her. There's a couple other pieces around. One of them's on Shin, but Goku's able to destroy it quickly. Same for one that landed on him. Super Buu did this as a distraction, and now he's trying to absorb as many people as possible, only successful in absorbing Rinsu. He doesn't change much. His appearance doesn't even change, but his magical prowess grows a little stronger from this, and he gets a little bit of a strength boost too. He starts laughing. This is going to be pretty fun. Goku knows that he has to destroy him as quick as he can, which shouldn't be an issue, but Buu's going to be trickier to fight, especially now that he's more intelligent thanks to having Rinsu as part of him. Not to mention, better magic for himself means the fight's going to be a little tougher for him, but Goku's taking it seriously, especially with everything at stake here. Meanwhile, the rest of the group heads towards Goma's place, and they're getting pretty close. They can even sense Dende nearby, and he communicates with them telepathically, but he tells them to watch out because somehow, Goma did get the third eye. He's trying to extract it right now, so he doesn't have its power just yet, but they need to make it here quick. And on top of that, Degasu's trying to take Dende somewhere else, and even though he's back to normal, he's not strong enough to fight back against him. Thankfully, they're able to get to Dende in time and save him. But then there's an ominous sensation nearby. Goma's finally able to free the third eye from the belt, taking it for himself, and now absorbing its power. As he becomes one with the third eye, and Goku's fight with Majin Buu continues, this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me I want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.